You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are RAW. And also together is the legend killer Ryan Whitman, so we want to shout him out. And thank you so very much, family, for being with us one more time. It's time for Monday Night Raw, and Jean-Paul allowed me to come back here, so thank you, Jean-Paul, for that. And
no problem.
About this show. That was actually a pretty good show. The road for SummerSlam is still on, so like you can see the pay-per-view is shaping it up to be a pretty good show.
Oh, I agree. This Raw, like you said, it was actually good. Randy Orton must have heard people saying that MJF was the best heel in wrestling, and he said, no. I am still the top dog, the best heel in all of professional wrestling. He proved it tonight. Great opening segment, great main event. You know, a good women's match. You know, I thought this was a pretty, good Monday Night Raw. This is a step in the right direction. Maybe they're taking this ratings war a little bit too seriously, which is benefiting us.
Is it starting to be more serious? Like you said, it's not aiming at kids. There's a few things that, like just pointed like that, like it could be improved. But also we had the second episode of Raw Underground. I know we have like a little bit more action from Retribution. They keep trying to get everybody's attention. I think that like this is not generating any attention because of the stuff that they're doing aside of like you said, a great opening segment and Randy Orton pretty much becoming, like you said, a sick son of a bitch. I think that Retribution is losing the momentum when it comes to all these storylines, and they should be, to me, if they want to make them look as the Nexus, as something that great, they need to be the main event. But that's only my take on it. So family, thank you again for being with us. Don't forget to check out all the content that we have. We have like with Jean-Paul, we did like the week in wrestling, so we talk about so many topics. So thank you so very much for being with us doing that Facebook Live. Talk about Brandy Rose deleting the Twitter, Marty Jannetty disappearing somebody, Jean-Paul. The North against FTR, maybe in the works. That will be great. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. We talk about a little bit of Retribution. What's behind that? Like who's behind the storyline, and even Raw Underground. What's happening? What CM Punk's thoughts about that? We talk about so many topics, so please don't forget to check that out and give it a chance. So, Jean-Paul, let's start from the beginning. Samoa Joe is the one that opened Monday Night Raw, but before that, we get, of course, like in the memory of Kamala, because unfortunately he passed on Sunday, and a lot of people are saying it's coronavirus. It was not coronavirus. A lot of complications that he had, through the years, like he even had both of his legs amputated.
Yeah, I believe I saw from now the source had a verified check mark on Twitter. That's not to say that they are a legit source, but there's somebody who's verified on Twitter at least, and they said that he was getting some surgery or some routine. I'm not sure what, but he did test positive, I guess, for coronavirus. But he was exposed to it when he went to the hospital, and I don't know if he was already, again, you don't know if that was his cause. Like you said, it wasn't, but whatever it was, we lost a wrestling legend. So.
Yes, Kamala was extremely good. Even the years before WWE, I think actually when he came to WWE, he was already in the,
of his career. He was one of the few people who actually was body slammed Andre the Giant as well.
Yes, so he got a great career. Unfortunately, he just dies, being poor, not really being celebrated like he should have been.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a shame, but we our condolences, all the love and support to his family. But Samoa Joe, like I said, he stars in the ring, and they're going to do the 2 contract signings. Why? Because Seth Rollins and Dominik are going to be signing for their match at SummerSlam, and also Dominik is going to sign his WWE contract. So that's extremely interesting, extremely good, because it's like Samoa Joe is like, I've been in this so many times in my life, but actually I'm the one signing in most of them. So that was good. Then he introduces the Monday Night Raw Messiah, Seth Rollins, and he was pretty much just saying that, of course, the great and good, Jean-Paul, and then he had a little bit of words with Samoa Joe. So you enjoy that, and I know you did.
Oh yeah.
When you were Seth freaking Rollins, you were really good. You were our leader. I look up to you. We were all really proud that you were the one carrying this company, and now you became into this trash.
Yeah, I mean, I love Samoa Joe. Like I said, he's the best, promo in WWE right now out of anybody, and the one thing I like what he said. He's like, you know what? As much as I would like to maybe put my hands on this guy, choke him out, I'll lose my job, because I'm not medically cleared. So, I gotta play neutral. Yeah, and it's like there's still that little bit of feud, and I have my fingers crossed one day we can see him back in the ring because Joe's legit, and see everything he said. About Seth Rollins. I mean, this is all, of course, kayfabe, whatever, but it's like in the storyline, it's true. It's like, he was legit, then he became bullshit, this heel. And even, when he said to Dominik later on, when Rollins was like, you only have this opportunity because of me, it's like, he's not wrong.
Oh no!
So true. Everything that everybody said involved in this opening segment.
Oh yeah, it was really good. And like you said, Dominik comes out finally. He has his own theme song. It says Dominik Mysterio, so like he inherited his dad's last name, and rightfully so. So he comes out and like he was actually talking also about Rollins, and he says, "Hey, you've been the one that like has been hurting good people, like my dad, like Aleister Black, and you don't do it for the greater good. You do it just for the worst. You're making lives worse," because Rollins was actually complaining, like you said, in like really good kayfabe stuff. Hey, when I was Seth freaking Rollins, I gave everybody what they wanted, and how they pay me back. They hated me. They booed me. They didn't like me at all. So now I become the Monday Night Raw Messiah, and now I'm going to do this for myself and also for the greater good. So they have a lot of, like you said, like the only reason that you have this match is because of me, so you should be thanking me. And I don't know if you think that you can last 5 minutes with me in the ring, but we'll see. And Dominik tried to channel the Sandman, so that's why.
Yeah, I was gonna say when they had the theme, it was the Booyaka Booyaka, and it should have been ding 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 ding.
Yeah, it should have been Enter Sandman, but like it was cool, and then he had the candlestick, so he made it the match. He made Extreme Rules, I think. That's what Rollins did for SummerSlam. He said,
well, he just told them. I don't think they said and it's anything like Extreme Rules. He told him he could bring the kendo stick or his exact words, any toy in the toolbox. Okay. He's like, you can just. So I mean, I think maybe Dominik's gonna bring it to the ring, and I think if Rollins gets a hold of it and swings it, I don't think the match will end in a DQ, especially with what we saw here tonight. But I don't know if I saw anything actually that they made it.
Well, yeah,
it should be a no. It should be a no DQ or something.
It's going to be maybe a no holds bar. Maybe they will introduce. They will add that kind of stipulation to make the match more, able to like for Dominik to use toys because like he doesn't have to wrestle that much.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Kind of just beat people up. So that's what they did, and very good. And you see the intensity. You see how personal this feud really is. And then they go to like Humberto Carrillo because Seth Rollins was going to have a match with him. Which this was like, what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Quick. Carrillo was kind of doing moonsault, and then Dominik was taking out Buddy Murphy, and that kind of distracted.
Which, that I will say, like, I know I was excited for this match that they're going to have at SummerSlam. I still am. But I feel like Dominik fucked up that cue. Because Humberto was up on the thing for a long time, and I'm like, am I watching AEW or Monday Night Raw? What's going on? It's just like waiting and waiting. And then Dominik finally is like, oh shit, and swings the kendo stick at Murphy, and then he jumps, and Rollins gets the boot up, and it's like, oh, okay. So that one is on Dominik. I think he missed the cue, but.
Well, like, we're going to see a lot of those because just, he's brand new. So, like, I like you said, when he talks, like, the promo that he delivered was good, maybe a little bit more intensity. But I think for what he's trying to do is being just a newbie, pretty much a complete new guy.
Well, Samoa Joe said it. Samoa Joe said it perfectly. He may have a baby face, but he is a man.
Oh yeah.
When he introduced him, and he's not wrong, and he, his voice isn't that much, grown up from a baby face either. But
I'm gonna beat you. So no,
that's what I said. I need the fire. Like, do they have to whoop Ray's ass in front of him again to get him to be like, get the anger,
Well, what they did to him after this, because Seth Rollins pretty much beat career really quick. After that, it was super kick, and then it was a power bomb. The stomp, 1, 2, 3.
And I love that setup into the stomp when he does the power bomb and then right into the stomp. That's a lot. Yeah, setup.
He's like Seth is. I think he's finally listening, but listening kind of like in a constructive way, and like he's improving the moveset a little bit, tweaking a little bit. So it's good. But then that's when the good stuff happens because just Dominik tries to beat up Rollins, and of course he's outnumbered because there's Rollins and Murphy. So now they get the candlestick. And then they put Dominik in between the ropes. They open like his T-shirt, like the $2 T-shirt from like American Eagle or something like that. And then boom, they open it up, and they just beat the crap out of Dominik with the candlestick. It was a candlestick.
And you got Murphy on the outside hitting his back. You have Rollins in the ring hitting his chest. This reminded me of like the 10 whacks on Tommy Dreamer, but it was a lot more than 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they were
way more than that.
I don't think they were swinging as hard as the Sandman was, but I mean,
it was good though. We got pictures right here, family, as you can see, how like Dominik looked after all this beat up.
And you know what? One thing that you said is funny, and I kind of was like, no, I don't think so. And then when I saw what WWE's caption on their Instagram page, you were like, maybe this is a slight initiation, like, hey, welcome to WWE, kid. And then I go on, I'm like, no, they wouldn't whoop his ass that bad. It's Rey Mysterio's son. And then their picture on WWE's Instagram is his chest and his back, and it just says, welcome to WWE, Dominik. And I'm like, yep, that was it. They initiated him.
And actually, WWE is actually really crappy because that's, as you guys can see, that's the title of our video. Because it says, welcome to WWE, Dominik. So, it's just like, I just thought about it because I feel like, in wrestling, there's a lot of codes. There's a lot of things that we don't know, and like probably like it doesn't matter if it is Rey Mysterio's kid.
Well, and see, you know what? But when did Rey get into the business? In the early '90s, he's old.
I think when he was like 12.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. He probably got his ass whooped. So he probably told his son, he's like, hey, mijo, it's gonna happen, and you're gonna take it like a man.
Yeah, well, like you said, take it because that way, you earn everybody's respect, and then everybody's gonna want to help you and work with you. So I think that like this was amazing. It was one of the best, like you said, probably the best opening segment in Monday Night Raw in 2020. Extremely good. I just love the violence and like John Paul saying why nobody came out. I rather nobody coming out because you keep that pure.
It definitely built the sympathy angle and the heat for Rollins a lot more. And it would have made sense real life to send somebody out, but the way Monday Night Raw works is they don't really ever send anybody out, so it made sense for how they do things now. But
like absolutely, I really enjoy this. From the beginning until the end, how like they had that shot of like Dominik just laying right there with the back, the chest, or pretty much with the marks of the candlestick. Absolutely amazing. That's how you build a really close storyline, like very personal. How do you build like a really good feud in between two people?
Yeah, now next week we're gonna hear the hot and fiery promo from Rey Mysterio because Rey's gonna say something.
Yes, and like for example, like also like but in addition to that, Rollins was actually looking at the camera and he's like, "Hi, Papa. Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "Hey, boom!" Amazing. That's how Raw. If that's what you want to change the business for the good, or like change your company, your product for the good, this is the route that you gotta go. This is absolutely the route that you gotta go. If it rains like this, please don't make it stop.
Oh, that's and then one thing I just want to say before we move on, the one thing Rollins said in his promo is he's the best wrestler of this generation. And some people are going to say, oh, Kenny Omega, this and that, AJ Styles, whoever in Japan. But when Rollins was a baby face, with the Intercontinental Championship, he was the best baby face in WWE. And right now, besides Randy Orton, especially after tonight, he's one of the best heels.
Oh no, well, yeah.
So that's what I mean. So he can.
He's always up there. He's always up there in the conversation.
Heel and a good baby face. So I would say he's definitely up there.
The one thing he has is consistency. Rollins, like heel, face, whatever storyline they give him, he tried to make the best out of it. He tried to make,
and even with the Authority, legit heel.
Oh yeah, well that was even better. We had a video that unfortunately YouTube banned us for that. I remember that, but that's a situation from the past. But like Jean Paul said, Angelo Dawkins. He's going to be feuding or fighting with Andrade Cien Almas. Selena came out with Garza and Andrade. Of course, they were cutting a promo because Selena is also like in ring attire, so she's gonna be fighting. She's gonna be fighting Bianca Belair. Like it was already announced, but she's like, hey, I didn't do it. Even like I don't know if you saw, but like Bianca Belair attacked Selena on one of like her like the Twitch broadcast that she has. Like she was actually playing games or something, and out of nowhere, boom, you see Bianca Belair.
Oh, okay. No, I saw a news thing. It said Zelina Vega was attacked during a Twitch stream, and I even clicked the news article. I'm like, because clearly this is kayfabe. If she was legit attacked, it was
Kurt Angle. Yeah, so like they had the match. Well, Zelina is saying, I didn't do it. I don't know why I will do that because the people I represent, they're going to be fighting against Angelo Dawkins and Montez at SummerSlam for the tag titles. Why would I do that? So like, you can see that she's playing heel. Then Angelo Dawkins went against Almas. And actually, Angelo Dawkins gets the win over Almas. So you see how much, they think about Almas.
Yeah,
and
it was. And who did?
not even there.
Who
they can do whatever they want with him.
Yeah, who distracted? Was it Garza or was it Zelina who kind of distracted?
It was Selena, kind of like Selena and Bianca. Bianca coming out and then start attacking like Selena. So like Andrade got distracted, and then Dawkins hit like the spine buster.
Yeah, and this is one thing I just want to say, like with WWE, going back, to NXT when Dakota Kai hit like the go to kick, and then this Dawkins hitting his finisher on somebody. Yeah, Dawkins is bigger and this and that, but I wish people would like that, because clearly it's an upset. They should just roll the person up. Like, they're distracted. If Dawkins would have just rolled up Garza, I wouldn't have hated this as much. But it's like, really, you're going to hit him with your finisher. Andrade is so legit, and he's going to get pinned by like
one move and done.
It's like, really? But if you would have rolled him up and he would have kicked out at 3 and been like, oh, what the hell? I lost. It's bullshit. Then I'm like, oh, okay. It's a little
bit better. You made the guy look a little better, and that's the stuff that didn't happen. And even on top of that, after that, we get the match with Bianca and Selena. Selena looked pretty decent because Selena is a really good wrestler. It's just that she doesn't have the opportunity every week, but like, she's good. And of course, Bianca is just like top class athlete. So it was a good match. I really like this. I mean, Bianca dominated for the most part of the match. Selena will try to do a comeback every now and then, but every time Bianca will just do like a bigger move or a more devastated move.
Yeah,
and that's why the KOD and done.
Yeah, and that's why we both feel, especially Andrade should have won his match, because you're gonna have 2 of these 3 people of the stable lose. And then they're supposed to be going into SummerSlam. Ooh, like now we're supposed to think the Street Profits are, in danger of losing their title? No.
What kind of heat is that? That's what I mean. Yeah. What kind of do they have a possibility? So actually, this leads me to believe, Jean-Paul, that the Profits are going to drop the titles to them. I really think that. Now,
that's that. Spoiler alert. That's my pick for the SummerSlam. There's no way, because if they don't put the titles now on Garza and Andrade, then they're done.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So after the match, Charlie Caruso interviews Bianca after the match, and she says like if there's any evidence that Vega poisoned Montez Ford. Bianca says that her and Ford like to keep their careers separate, but Vega did what she did to her man, and now she will make her pay. So Charlie asks when Montez will be back, and Dawkins is like, people are kind of afraid, kayfabe, that like Montez Ford is not going to make his return before SummerSlam, but he's confirmed for the match, and they're going to want to smoke. So that's all. That's what.
And they both called him Tez. Like Montez, they called him Tez, but I thought they said Taz, and I was waiting for survive if I let you. I was waiting for Taz. I'm like, AEW with Brian Cage, what's going on?
Oh yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like they were like, I was like Taz. I'm like, oh, Montez. Okay.
Yeah. That's what it took me like this.
Okay. Yeah. Like that's why. Like, can you say the whole name at least? So like, I mean, you live with each other. You guys are best friends, whatever. But at least I don't live with you guys. So like, can you tell the whole name so I know who you guys are talking about? But then Jean-Paul, MVP Lounge, of course, like MVP has like his segment because he's just signed a multi-deal contract. He goes from being a producer in 2 weeks. So can you wrestle? Sure, boom. Multi-deal contract. He's really happy because he has a lot of money now for Montavious Porter. He's legit, so I don't have a problem with that. But like he's talking about the fact that like Retribution, they were the ones that like were messing up with the microphones, messing up with the lighting, messing up with like
and they cost him his match. Yeah.
And so he's saying, I didn't lose the match to Apollo. I lost the match to the lighting crew, like with Retribution, and that's why I'm not the United States champion anymore. So like Apollo comes right out and he says he doesn't want to be the bad man in this situation, but like in SummerSlam they're gonna have their match. So Apollo says, we'll see who the real man is, and we're going to find out at SummerSlam. It's cool. Don't worry. So now they get a match. Apollo gets a match with Shelton Benjamin. And, of course, MVP and Bobby Lashley are on the outside. This match was good. I don't know if I would want, Apollo as the champion to lose, though. What do you think on this, Paul?
Don't get me wrong. I popped because I'm a huge fan of Shelton Benjamin. I think he's so legit. I think he's like 42, 43. He's up there. And the guy's still probably top 5 athlete, at least on Monday Night Raw, if not, on the WWE's whole roster. Yeah. He's so legit. I mean, Apollo's all 4 of these guys, even MVP in his age, are all super athletic. And I mean, to get the win here, it could be a thing where Apollo then looks like the underdog going into this match, because if you really think about it, it's like, okay, we didn't get it at SummerSlam. Extreme Rules. But then we got it on Monday Night Raw, so it's like, okay, we got it. We don't care. they're booking it again. So it's like they gotta give us maybe a reason to care. So it's like, oh, the champ lost on TV, non-title. Maybe he'll lose to MVP, and then we're supposed to, care. But to me, the money match is when Bobby Lashley gets his hands on it, because unfortunately he's out of the, heavyweight championship. So I think he's just got to go for a mid-card title. So I want Lashley to get it.
And that's what happened, because like you said, pretty much Shelton Benjamin rolled out. Like what we wanted with Andrade, that's what Shelton Benjamin did to Apollo. So he rolled him out 1, 2, 3. So Shelton gets the win. And like Bobby Lashley comes on, he starts attacking like really like brutal attack on Apollo. But then MVP was like, whoa, don't injure, because he went for like the Master's Lock or the full Nelson. So he went for it, and he's like, no, don't injure him, because I want him ready, good and healthy for SummerSlam. So like you said, like I think that like if Bobby Lashley is the one that actually leads the group in that aspect, like he becomes like the champion, and MVP is just like, hey, calling the shots, I will be okay with it. But like the fact that like you're wasting Bobby Lashley one more time, at least for now, that's something that I'm not.
What if MVP would win in a shitty way and just hand the title to Lashley? What would you think of that? Would you hate that?
That would be cool, because he does, for example, like MVP will be like, hey, I'm getting old for this, or like I'm good, but like, hey, this is your spotlight. We couldn't get the heavyweight championship, so here, you're the champion. You defend this, and of course, we'll help you out to keeping the championship. So I think that like that would be a lot better.
Now, the only thing I had wrong with this segment, or I didn't like, is how we ended last week. They were like, we're in charge of Raw Underground, and I know Raw Underground technically starts at 10, but it's like, you own Raw Underground. Why are you hosting an MVP lounge? Shouldn't you be getting ready for Raw Underground that you've taken over?
Yeah, no,
and they weren't even on Raw Underground this week.
So no, like, because it was just a shame. Well, we'll get to Raw Underground, but like we had a little thing of a retribution, because they were breaking a window or something. Or like that's what I mean. And
this is so bad. First of all, again, you got these high school kids there. They just finished their algebra homework. They had their Go-Gurt. They're like, okay, it's legit. They're like, oh, they're breaking in the performance center, and they somehow found some guy who's even shorter than these high school students. He's like,
It was me. Yeah, all along. Yeah.
It was one. He was like, hey, you guys got to get out of here right now. And they take a cinder block, and they don't throw it, in the top half of the window, like
they go in the bottom, right?
They throw it, and the thing barely skids through the glass, breaks it, and they're like, yeah. They should have thrown that cinder block in and ran in and started destroying it. They, like I said, high school kids, they break one window, and they're like, ooga booga, ooga,
I could have not said it the best. That's how I feel like this looks like. Like high school kids, complete like youngsters just doing stupid crap to get attention.
I hate it.
To get attention.
Yep.
It's like the OnlyFans that, some girls have and stuff like that. It's just to get attention. But, that's a topic for a different show, for Rubric and Filter. But very similar to this. Like, I want attention. I'm going to do something dumb. Yay! So, like, I don't think that that's how you are going to get these guys over. Especially because already a lot of people are shitting on their height. So, that is not making any sense. So, Mr. Egg, we have the return of Mickie James. So, I was excited. I'm a big fan of Mickie James. Jean-Paul loves her, too. So, it was cool. But what she's being paired up with is not really making any sense, because she was actually making her return. Sarah Shiver is talking to her. Hey, why are you back? He's like, hey, I got a lot of things to still do. I still have a goal in my mind, so I'm thinking I'm going to challenge for a championship. Before she gets to do that, hey, Natalya and Lana come out, and like they were in the same outfit, looking, of course, like flamboyant, kind of like Gucci Mama like, very like, I was like, because see, I see a Natty in a different light, and I mean, I know this is not going to work, because she's a terrible actress in that manner, like portraying something that she's not. Because even when she was heel, I didn't believe it. So I didn't like this pair up with Lana anyway. So like they're talking, it's kind of like Lay Cool, but a lot trashier than what like Lay Cool was. So they were pretty much starting a feud with Mickie James. They say, hey, Natalya goes, oh, well, I'm the woman that has the most wins in WWE history, because all like televised pay-per-view and all of that. So it's like, oh, I'm better than you, so just watch out. So what do you think about this, Jean-Paul?
I mean, you said it perfectly. We're both big fans of Mickie James. I'm glad she's back. She's a hell of a wrestler. Even at her age, she's still in legit shape. She can still go. Natalya, it's like, okay, who else are you going to feud her with? Shayna Baszler, like we said, she was in Raw Underground. We'll get to that at 10 o'clock. And so it's like, who else do you have to feud her with on Monday Night Raw? Well, Bianca and Zelina, the Riot Squad and the Iconics, they're doing their thing. So it's like, who is there? Natalya. Okay, well, we got to turn her heel because we want a returning Mickie James to be face. And to me, if I'm going to long-term book this thing quick, hopefully Asuka wins at SummerSlam, and Asuka and Mickie James had a legit match when Asuka was the NXT championship, so I'd love to see a rematch, with the Monday Night Raw Women's Championship. I'd love to see that. So, I mean, I'm excited for this because I know Mickie James is going to win. You're not going to bring her in to get Natalya's new heel gimmick over. You know what I mean? So
it's true. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, even Mickie James said, all the things is like, from you, Lana, I know that you are like this Gucci mama, it's absolutely
expected. She's a legit promo too.
But from you, Natalya, is like, really? All the legitness, all the cocktails that you ride.
Yeah, she's like, all you do. Yeah, she's like, all you do is just ride the coattails of your family name, this is how this is what you're gonna do.
And it's like, and she said, regardless, the best things about boats is like they sink. So there you go. So good stuff on that. So John Paul, it's time for a promo of Raw Underground. Like you said, 10 o'clock, so we gotta hurry. We got Shane and Mike. What's up, you guy? Are you ready for this? And it's like, yeah. Okay, so good stuff. But before we go to that, Jean Paul is like Ivar and the older guy from the Viking Raiders.
Eric.
Ivar and what's the guy's name?
Eric.
Yeah, I don't even know this guy's names. They're talking to the Demi, not Lovato. She was see, I know this one. See, Jean Paul knows one. I know the other one. She's the one that was flirting with Garza last week.
Yeah.
It seems like she's an enthusiastic or something. She's a YouTuber or something big. And I guess I don't know why they're using her, but
no, I think she's from The Bachelor or The Bachelor. Yes, she's from that. So they're using her because celebrity.
Okay, yeah, whatever. So pretty much she's talking to Ivar and they're talking hey, you're legit, and he's like, oh, that's why I'm legit. He's kind of sweet talking her to something. And then Eric comes out and he's like, hey, we got to get ready. And then Cedric Alexander and also Ricochet, they were like, okay, we got to get ready for a match. And, of course, they did the same freaking thing that they did with the promos and the stuff with the Street Profits. Oh, you're cute, and then you're not so cute. So,
and, of course, Ricochet and Cedric, again, the high school kids, too.
I don't know. It's legit to work for WWE, but if you're going to portray me like this, I don't want to be part
Like I said, it should be I'm not saying you're going to be all tough and rough, but it should be hey, we're legit. We're grown adults. We're, in an athletic, physical contest. Let's get ready. Why is this chick here?
Yeah.
Are you a trainer? Are you helping him tape up? Are you helping him stretch? What are you doing? If you're not doing anything,
have Bianca, but, a girl be like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Or Bianca used to be like, you don't go here, girl.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's and who's this celebrity? Who pops to see this chick from The Bachelor? Literally, who cares?
She's probably cute and stuff, but whatever. Even her name, she's Demi Lovato, and he's not Demi Lovato, whatever. So even more crappy, all these guys, Viking Raiders and Ricochet and Cedric Alexander going against Akira Tozawa and the Ninjas. So 5 minutes of trash. The only good thing about, one of the ninjas ends up rolling out to Zawa. And what was one of the ninjas? It was R-Truth. So he's champion, he's 24/7 champion for the 37th time. So this is, like you said, this is just the worst comical crap that I see. That's what I mean. This is when the show goes really in the toilet. Because it starts good. See, so far, kind of decent. Because the first segment, it was really great.
You know what? One thing I just want to say quick though, if you stretch this match out to 15 minutes, it was almost the opening match of AEW last week.
Yeah,
because as I'm watching this match, you see the ninjas. He goes in, he eats a big move from whoever, Eric, Ivar, Cedric, Ricochet. One of them eats a big move. He falls to the outside. No tag is made. Lucha rules apparently. Another ninja jumps in and they start beating his ass, and the ref is just like, "Oh, okay, legit." And then they don't make tag.
Who's copying who? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying isn't it funny how people are gonna shit on this match, rightfully so, and be like, "Oh, this was awful. This is so stupid," and then AEW, Young Bucks, legit.
It's the same stuff. But we both say it's a clusterfuck. It doesn't generate anything. And R-Truth winning the championship, who cares?
Yeah, I said, take that title. I think I said it in the news section. Take that title to Raw Underground. Have R-Truth. I love him, but have him get the shit beat out of him in Raw Underground. They take that title,
and they come up with
bust it like the Hardcore, and they make it the Raw Underground title.
Yes, exactly. That would be absolutely outstanding. And now we go to Charlie Caruso, Jean-Paul, interview with Drew McIntyre. So he's pretty much talking about Randy Orton. He said that he's had an opportunity last week. The reason Randy's taking out legends and not helping the young guys is self-preservation. Orton wants to stay on top for as long as possible. He's had that grip on the torch he took from like Mick Foley since 2004. So that's,
that's legit. True, Foley's
it's
God.
True. It's true. It's legit. But at SummerSlam, he's going to kick him in the head and rip the torch away. And then Orton will know Evolution has passed him by. Charlie asks, hey, Drew, what happens if Kevin Owens wins? Oh, well, me and Kevin have had serious talks of the future of Monday Night Raw. So that's legit, like there's respect between the two. And it's like, hey, if he wins, you'll be legit. But, the feud is with Orton.
I was just going to say, like,
I'm glad that they threw that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like it, but in the same token, it's like, what if Kevin wins? It's like, oh, well, I hope he does, because that means he would kick Randy's ass and soften him up for me, and maybe when I beat Randy, then, yeah, maybe I'll think about giving Kevin a title shot, but it's like, hey, my laser's focused on Randy. I don't give a fuck what Kevin does.
Absolutely. So now, Jean-Paul, we go to Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, the Iconics, going, in this case, only Peyton Royce as a singles, going against Liv Morgan, accompanied by Ruby Riott. So this was really quick. They had a few, like, not even just a really short promo, and just pretty much saying, hey, you guys, like, Ruby Riott, you're a liar. You're just, like, go from, like, oh, I love you to I hate you, like, quicker than, like, I go with Shawn Spears. So pretty much, really fast. And they had the match, but, like, kind of like Ruby tried to help Liv, but like, that came out as a distraction. And then Liv kind of, like, just ate the finisher from Peyton Royce that she's doing, like, a swinging net breaker, but the way she does it is, like, little higher, like, because like Nikki Cross does it like really on the ground, kind of very fast. It's like a snap swinging net breaker, kind of pain, and it takes her time, and she kind of rolls her out, and she gets the win. So that's what it was, Jean Paul. And like you see, Liv Morgan is still has like some kind of she's not completely sold on Ruby Riott yet. See, because Ruby was like, hey, so
and I'm not completely sold that WWE knows how to do anything with women when they book them. Besides, because I don't know if Bayley and Sasha have the power behind their own pen, but it's like, we're kind of caring about the, Liv and Ruby getting back together last week. Ruby had a legit promo, blah, 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 okay. I'm buying into it a little bit. Then Liv goes out here, like you said, loses in a 3-minute match. It's like, okay. I mean, you got to build the Iconics up, but to me, you don't need to build them up because they're supposed to just be annoying. They don't need to get wins under their belt. You know what I mean? They can just be annoying.
And like you said, like for example, in Raw Talk, they said that like Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, they said, hey, we're legit, we're cool, we're good now. So in the first match, oh, okay, no, don't touch me. Oh, you do cause me the mask. What the hell? Like you said, we go like back and forth. It's like you hang out with that girlfriend that is like giving you the mixed signals. Back and forth, hot and cold, like Katy Perry will say. There you go. There's like my pop culture reference, like courtesy of Mauro Ranallo. So there you go, Jean Paul. So like it's time for Raw Underground. Like Rick Moss, he was the one that Riddick Moss was the one that I was fighting. He got a good match. Like I like the concept of I do because it's it's like UFC like.
Well,
he got the win.
This was, I think, which I can't wait till we talk about the second match. But this was the best match I think by far. Riddick Moss, he was 24/7 champion. He was doing that little shtick for a little bit. This is the perfect thing for him. The dude looks like, he could be a legit fighter. He's jacked as all hell. His worked punches looked good. The takedowns, everything looked good. And what you said about this reminds you of UFC back before Dana White and whoever the hell owns it or bought it.
And Dana Black, yeah.
Yeah, whoever, yeah. Shane McMahon actually wanted to buy UFC before it became really big.
Yeah. Well,
and they sold it to somebody else. So Shane has always loved like the legit fighting.
Like legit fighting, yes. Yeah, and in the spirit of Jean Paul saying that comment, there was a report that came out that like said that like the whole idea of Raw Underground is Shane O'Mac. It's like he's the mastermind of all of this. He's the one that is coming out with the ideas. And like you said, Riddick Moss is really cool. I really like they went to the outside. You see they were kind of like going against the walls and stuff. They went back in the ring and then he kind of hit that punch and that was it. It's like, oh, done. And kind of Shane is calling the action. Yeah, done. But like it was cool. The only thing like I will say to you, I don't know if they were listening to Medusa or Alundra Blaze because Alundra Blaze was like, I don't like the strippers right there or like the girls, like in pretty much bikinis and stuff. It's like I want them and men with Speedos. So pretty much maybe they heard that and now they took away the women. Because
well,
it's derogatory.
the only thing I will say to that is I don't think they give a shit what Alundra Blaze is because she's on AEW. But they probably care what USA says. USA might be like, we'll give you 6 son of a bitch, but the women got to put clothes on.
Maybe
they say okay.
Maybe I just for example, I'm the one that was actually loving that part, you know. And also like I needed, like I said, the club underground like music.
Oh, it definitely gave it the vibe. It definitely gave it more the vibe.
This week it lost the vibe completely because it just, you know, it was like plays that like guys fight, but I needed like the you know, kind of like
no, it should legit be like there's a ring, there's guys circling the ring, and on the outside of the ring you have a bar. And you have the chicks dancing near the bar, and there you have a bartender serving drinks because it's like underground. It's anything goes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who cares? Like, you go to these places to be bad. You know what I mean? To like do things that like in the upper ground.
And what happened when Shane opened the door? A bunch of smoke came out. Smoke don't just come from thin air, you know. And the Street Profits weren't down there, so somebody's smoking something.
Yeah, it is smoking some 420 right there. So you know, it's legit. See, I know he's gonna love that reference. Yeah. So you know, when like that's maybe he was right there, but he wasn't even on the shot. So that's why the situation is. That's the only thing I didn't like about like fighting quality. I think is good, and a lot of people are loving the concept. So like you said, if they actually tied it up with something like the 24/7 title, do a destruction. Hey, this is the past. See, that will be a good way to symbolize like the new era of Raw, so to say.
Because if you think about it, and it's like, hey, anybody get in the ring, anything goes. Let's like, who wants to fight? Who's up next? It's anybody. The 24/7 championship was anytime, any place. So that's what Raw Underground kind of is, you know, after 10, but it's anytime, any place.
Exactly. Like it should be uncensored. That's like the idea. Remember when like they had the first episode with the 24/7 title? Because you were doing that by yourself. I remember they said, hey, like it's going to be after that, it's going to be all real. It's going to be hardcore. It's going to be like the great. That's kind of like what they want. And they're accomplishing that. But like you said, they're kind of like still figuring it out. They're still figuring out the formula, but it's good. Now let's go to something that always works, and that is Asuka going against Bayley. If Asuka wins, she will get a title shot at SummerSlam with Sasha Banks. This match was absolutely amazing. You know, these two girls, like, they always had chemistry from the days of TakeOver, from the days of NXT. So, like, I really enjoy this match. That's kind of the way that, like, you sell me on stuff with matches like this. Right, Jean-Paul?
Oh, yeah, there's so many good spots. I think, like, Bayley went for a spinning back fist to copy Asuka.
She did.
And then she, like, ducked it and then got her in, like, a suplex. Bayley countered Asuka and, like, suplexed her into the corner. There was a spot where, I don't know what she was going for, but I think she rolled up Bayley, and then Bayley kicked out, and she went to roll her up again, but transitioned into the octopus. And then Asuka went for like not a super kick, but some sort of kick, and Bayley trapped her in an ankle lock. I mean, there's just so many good, like you said, they have so much chemistry, so many good spots.
We so great wrestling right now.
But see, when they do their spots, it's all like wrestling moves, and it's all legit. They're not like, you know, diving, and that's how they pop the crowd. They pop the crowd with like, oh, look at this crazy transition into a submission or something like that. And, you know, Sasha, of course, had to get involved, but you know, to me, that really wasn't a factor. It was mostly just these two women.
No, I really like that. That like she played a factor, but she didn't become the factor.
Yeah.
And also like Bayley's story through the match was like kind of making fun of Kairi Sane. Remind Asuka, you know, hey, your friend is no longer here. So that's why like she was doing like you said, the spinning back fist. She was trying to do like the elbow in the corner, and then she kind of went like with like the steps from like Kairi Sane. She kind of do the insane elbow, which turned out to be her normal elbow that she does, and Asuka kicked out of that. But like Bayley's like, I can't believe it, is still on. So good stuff. And like when Bayley was kind of going for like the big steps that Kairi Sane used to do, she goes run to her, Asuka traps her, and then she rolls her up, and then she goes for like the armbar, which transitioned into the Asuka lock, and Bayley right away tops out. Extremely good stuff. And like you said, there's still ways for the people to get popped, or like, you know, to pop the audience through wrestling. And Asuka and Bayley showed that like they can do that.
Yeah, and I like how she tapped out right away, because I'm waiting for Sasha to be like, why didn't you try to fight out? You know, you could have got a foot on the rope. And she was like, no, like my career, like, you know, screw you, you know, just beat her at SummerSlam. Yeah.
Through there, they can start the cracks of that friendship. Through there, but like extremely good. And like Asuka, they're doing their justice. She's going to be fighting Sasha Banks in SummerSlam, so we're all excited, hopefully. A lot of people are saying, well, at least Sasha Banks has got like the longest like run as Raw champion that she's ever had before. So we'll see what happens. But if Asuka gets the title back, I wouldn't be upset because already Jean Paul booked for me because I want Mickie James. I want Mickie James and Asuka to have their match because I rather like legends, women that represent wrestling. And I'm not saying Sasha Banks is not, but like the storyline because we've seen her so much. It's just I want her maybe to.
Yeah, and I think after this feud, after this feud with Asuka, exactly, she needs to feud with Bayley.
Yeah, it is always overdue. It's kind of getting to that point that it's overdue, so it needs to happen. But good stuff on the girls, like they leave us like a good taste in our mouths. And now Jump Paul, like we got another thing from Raw Underground. So we go back to Raw Underground, girls, Raw Underground, and there's Dabakato, like Davacato.
Yeah,
Davacato or Cato, my Spanish always gets in the way, but like he's pretty much beating everybody up, and he's beating the dude, but he grabs him by the balls. He kind of goes the Joey Ryan way. I thought that he was going to turn or something, but like no,
he didn't. He just completely grabbed this, and I mean that's what I said in this second fight. I'm like, okay, the Dabakato was legit last week, really dominant. It's like, okay, legit. We see him this week. And it's like, I'm expecting the same momentum. I'm thinking he's going to be one of the rising stars or something on Raw Underground. And then he just grabs this dude by the dick for at least 20 seconds.
I know.
It feels like an eternity. And then he headbutts him, I think, or he does something.
He clotheslines him.
Okay, but while holding on.
Why you need to grab the balls?
Yeah, like, I mean, if that's what you do, like a desperation move.
Are you Goldust? Are you the Velveteen Dream? You know what I mean? I'm like, why?
Yeah, I was like, that took me out of it. I was like, dude, like, really?
It went from Raw Underground to, Raw Pornhub. You know what I mean? It went to, Raw xvideos.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't ask me how I know those websites. I will never reveal what I know them. I never seen them in my life, but, I just didn't like that, like you said. And even worse, I mean, Dabakato wins. He's probably, if they want to make a champion, that's your guy.
Him or Riddick Moss.
Before the Bulls thing, Dabakato was your champ. But now he wins, and out of nowhere, the camera, I like that. The camera just spawns, with the shot. It's just Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler is right there. And he's just looking at Dabakato, and he's like, okay, you want to do it? Let's do it, son. And if we're going with the Bulls thing, that will end up just becoming porn. And, it will just be like whoever wins gets Shayna Baszler. I don't know if that's how they should do it, but Shayna Baszler is right there, and is like, okay, let's do it. And then, of course, they go to, the WWE style, and then, Dabakato leaves, and then Shayna's like, okay, who's going to find me? And she grabs 3 girls. She gets the first 2 right away. She starts attacking, and then she takes the other girl. So, she fights 3 women, but she dominates all 3. I was waiting for Marina Shafir, I was waiting for Jessie McDuke. I was waiting for any of them to kind of, even the odds, but no, Shayna Baszler took out the 3 of them.
Yeah, and I mean, that would have been cool, but like you said, they're trying to really build up Shayna, and of course these women were probably the dancers who their shift was over, and they were just in the crowd, and they're like, what the hell? So maybe we'll see,
baby. We'll be there.
Yeah, maybe we'll see them next week, and all 3 of them will gang up on Shayna, and then maybe that'll be a way to introduce, some of the other MMA horsewomen. But I wish Shayna just did more holds. I wish she caught them in surprise arm breakers or broke the fingers, because her working punches don't look that good. I didn't think when she was throwing the punches, it was literally like this.
It felt sloppy.
It felt like she was making dough. You know what I mean? You really got to lay them in there.
It felt a bit sloppy, and especially when 3, can't even overcome 1. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. That's it. But if she would have did an arm breaker, they could have been like, oh my God, my arm's done. And then obviously you sell that for the whole fight.
Yes, and absolutely. And in the end, she's not doing the Kira clutch to one of the girls. And then it's like, oh, it's done. And then Shane's like, oh, well, that's it for Raw Underground. And like I said, from the first week to the second week, I need the girls and I need the music. Just because give me, like you said, this vibe of this club that only certain people are supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the girls are like sprinkles on top of an ice cream. It doesn't make or break it, but I'll take them if they're available. And to me, the biggest thing was just I don't understand why MVP last week was like, oh, I own this bitch, and then this week he's like nowhere to be seen. So I'm like, oh, okay.
And for MVP, it would have sounded a little better because it's kind of those clubs, from the big cities in the world.
Yeah, and he comes down there wearing the suit. Well, I mean, they all wore the suits. They look like they legit owned it because Shane O'Mac wears the same shit I do.
Yeah.
A t-shirt and shorts, and he's like, oh, hey, I'm legit. And he's like, I'm Shane, and I'm like, oh, okay.
All I need is here comes the money. I love Shane. He's
Shane's legit.
But I mean, like I said, wear your suit, and that way, kind of be the pimp. You know, we need the Godfather in there, and like the Godfather be like, hey, like, this match there, like, because Shane is legit, but like he doesn't represent, like the clothing doesn't match where he is. That's all the thing. Main event time, Mr. Egg is like Kevin Owens against Randy Orton. This match was like pretty quick. You know, it didn't really mean anything. I think that like what was happened after that is what really needed to end the show.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it needed to come across.
This was a good match though. I mean, I like the spots early on, especially goes for the stunner, then counters, goes for the RKO. It's like, okay, legit, you know, back and forth. Kevin Owens looked good, but I mean, how do we think this was going to end? With a stunner and Kevin Owens wins? No. RKO, done. You know, what's the tagline? You'll never see it coming for SummerSlam. Of course, you know, Tom Phillips had to get that in there. RKO, he never saw it coming. Like, okay, thanks. That's like when you're watching a movie and they say, like, we're the Expendables. And it's like, the Expendables, that's legit. You know, Will Smith is like, we're the Suicide Squad, and it's like, okay, there it is.
We're rope break, there it is. You know, we're the undesired ones. There it is. Yeah. So like, that's a new gimmick that we're gonna try to. We're working on it for Raw Underground, so we're gonna show up with that. But like, I agree with you. Like, you never see it coming. Like, he counters the freaking stunner. What else it was supposed to be? Even in the game, you know, you counter your finisher, you get finisher. What are you gonna hit him with? Yeah. RKO and done. So like after that, and I'm thinking it's 10:45. So like it's either like they're gonna do more Raw Underground or like they're gonna do something with Flair, which they did. So Randy Orton kind of gets the microphone and it says, "Hey, you know, you helped me out, you bailed me out from like really bad situations in '04. You know, I was a punk, I was a stupid idiot, young, so I was doing stupid stuff. But you bailed me. Like nobody else came to my aid. Nobody else, but you, Rick. You were the one that bailed me out. You've been there by my side throughout my career. I've been able to be a 13-time world champion because of you. You believe in me and all your teachings, hanging out with you. You know, all the lectures that you gave me, I'm here because of you. But what I'm trying to portray right now, Rick, what I'm trying to do, you no longer fit in that. It's like, you kind of have a hard bypass, like you're not the Ric Flair that I grew up watching. You're not the man. So it's like, Rick, come on. No, it's done. It's like you became this is normal. You're old. You don't want the spotlight.
The best line he said of this all, especially because it's like, we all know his son, OD'd, passed away. He's like, I'm the son you wish you had.
Yes.
And it's like, that was legit. That was like legit heat. Like,
Oh, yeah. I love that. Like, when he delivered that, he's like, I like everything that like you wanted like Reed to be. Right here, baby. Right here. So like, it was great. Absolutely amazing. So then Rick kind of gets the microphone. And he's like, he gets in kind of good mode. He's like, hey, I'm 71. I'm no longer that Ric Flair. I'm not that guy anymore. But he's like, I want to be with you. I want to be with you when you become 14-time, 15-time, 16-time, because you are going to break my record. Not John Cena's record. My record. And I want to be by your side when you do that because I've said it before. I will say it now. You're the best wrestler today. And I want to be with you because I'm Charlotte's dad. I'm enjoying her run, and I want to be with you. And that's how I just get my spotlight. He said, I don't care because I'm no longer Ric Flair. So like good stuff, like really good lines, from both of them.
Oh, good and stuff. Like he said, he's like, I did have this, surgery. I was induced in a coma.
All of that.
He's like, it was done. He's like, and the first thing I did when I woke up, I called everybody, told them I loved them, this and that, because he's like, you don't know, like you said, you got real emotion, all that stuff, and it was legit. But that just like, Ric Flair was like, he's kind of heelish, the things he was doing. But then this week, he was like, no, he's babyface, he's legit. And then, take us through what Randy does.
Oh, well, then Randy kind of like hugs him and he's like, okay, relax, bro. Like, we're good. We're legit. You're my daddy. You're my dad. You're legit. And then he kind of flips him and then low blows. Boom. It's like, and Rick is like, he didn't sell it like old Rick will do, but I guess Rick is old. We got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And see, like, Randy kind of like whispers to his ear. He's like, hey, Papa, I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah. The one thing I like, though, is when he low blowed him, he like caught him right away.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he took him to the ground. It's almost like, like the Dexter Lumis. Like, when Lumis does that to people.
It's like that paternal love. You know what I mean? It's like, I know I'm beating you. But it's like, hey, I'm going to take you through, like, I'm going to make the journey kind of, sweet. I'm going to lower the amount of pain. You know, it's like I'm going to take care of you while I kill you. You know, and that was cool, like you said. And then he sets him up for the punt. And when he was going to do that, the lights went off because they're not going to show that.
Oh, well, yeah, and but the thing to mention, though, while this is all going on, I don't know if it was during the promos, but it was at least while he, low-blowed him. And I believe it was through the whole night, I think, as well. They kept, like, the lights were flickering, so obviously, it was the high schoolers. They were screwing with the breaker box.
Retribution, like, okay, the high schoolers, there you go.
Yeah, but, so that was I will say, though, because obviously you're not going to risk it. I mean, yeah, Randy Orton can work it, but how good can Ric Flair? Maybe is he going to move his head in time? You don't want to risk the kick. So it's like, okay, let's have it where the lights go off. So I have to applaud them for thinking of that.
No, yeah, it was good. It was good. I have no problem with that. It's the man. It's 71. The fact that he's still there is awesome. We have Ric Flair. We've seen Ric Flair so many times. Like, that's professional wrestling right there for me. Mm-hmm. That's not even, that's like not even a legend. That's professional wrestling. That's just a big name, Ric Flair. Nature Boy is just, if you don't love Nature Boy, you just don't love professional wrestling. Period. Oh, yeah. That's what it is. That's the biggest figure. And today is Hulk Hogan's birthday. I don't care, because Ric Flair is always going to be better than Hulk Hogan for me. And Randy Savage. Those two, legit. No Hogan, no. I'm sorry, Hogster. Theme song and done. That's all it is for me. But like you said, and then you would have rather to see blood, though. You wanted maybe like a little.
Oh yeah, especially because when the lights when the lights went out, you could have did something that, like, he could have put the blood out his nose, like, when he kicked him, it was like in the nose or whatever, or coming out of his mouth. You could have did something, because when the lights went out, Rick could have easily just blood pack it. Okay, but I mean, they didn't do it, and that's fine. It didn't hurt the segment, but as gruesome as we saw in the opening segment, I thought, like, well, to really sell this segment, the 71-year-old man should have a little bit of blood.
I want to not be opposed to that. So, like, you're making a really great point, because you use the word gruesome, so you're gonna end it the way you started it. So, but then Drew McIntyre comes out, and he's like, oh, you sick bastard, you sick son of a bitch, even him. So I like how personal it is, because it's kind of like you're talking to a god. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound formulaic. It doesn't sound scripted. It's like, for example, if you will see somebody doing that, you will say the exact same words. Even him, really? Like in that tone. It's like, even him, you sick son of a bitch. And you see Randy Orton kind of like the biggest heel. It's like, and then you see, like the Colgate, like smile, all that legit.
Yeah, you see the Viper's fangs. And this is the one thing I will say, unless Ric Flair cost him the match, there's no way you have Randy Orton lose at SummerSlam.
Oh, no. Like, we already mentioned, though, like,
but WWE, they can change plans.
It is true. 2
minutes before the show.
All for that, maybe you guys did. We said Randy Orton's going to be champion. Randy Orton's going to be champion. But
that's what I'm saying. Unless, if they do want to change it up and continue the feud past SummerSlam, Ric Flair has to be the one to cost Randy, because he can't lose clean. Not on the one he's on.
Oh, yeah, Ric Flair will have to, like, at least low-blow him or something, so, like, that will even the odds. But, like, for now, this match just seems to be, like, these two feuds, like you said. The best thing of Monday Night Raw is Dominik Mysterio and the Monday Night Raw Messiah and Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. They're making it so personal. They're making it even, like, forget about the wrestling. It's just about, it's like, we hate each other. So, and I love the fact that, like, you're using your finishers as, like, kind of like the point of the rivalry is like, hey, I have the RKO, and then I have, my kick. The
and the RKO, he always says, oh, you'll never see it coming. The tagline, it comes out of nowhere. And Drew McIntyre's like, I announced the Claymore kick, 3, 2, 1, because I don't care. I know you're not going to dodge it, and I'm going to take your head off.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I like. Exactly, that's my point. It's like both of those finishers, you're selling them like they're pretty much devastating. If one of them takes it, it's done. So, I love that. So that's pretty much wraps this show, Jean-Paul. Absolutely a good Monday Night Raw. Like you said, maybe in the middle, a little bit of crappy stuff. And I will end these things with a quote that Jean-Paul is always used. If this show will be 2 hours, it will be the best 2 hours in professional wrestling, because this surpasses NXT. I'm sorry. This surpasses AEW. This surpasses Impact. This surpasses SmackDown. But, like, if they will just remain they cut it out to, like, 2 hours.
Yeah, if you would have got rid of a
segment like this and an ending, absolutely amazing.
You get rid of the Street Profits stuff, the Bianca Belair, the Ruby Riott Iconics. Well, no, you keep Bianca Belair versus Zelina. That's fine. but get rid of the iconic stuff. Get rid of
ninjas. Get rid of all of that.
Yeah, get rid of the dick grabbing match. Maybe just have one match from Underground and legit, and get rid of the high school kids.
Absolutely, yeah. So, guys, John Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world.
Well, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The Original Rope Break, and you can find us on Twitter, The OG Rope Break, and right here on YouTube, The Original Rope Break.
That's right, family. So please don't forget to help us out and, subscribe, get that bell for all the notifications, and we'll be back for AEW Dynamite. A lot of speculation, Jean Paul, because Chris Jericho had a few concerts with Fozzy, and, there were no masks. Jericho's defending himself, saying that everybody was tested for coronavirus. A lot of backlash from that. The match is actually in doubt because they don't know if he passes the test or not. Taz revealed that, they've been doing tests with, a blood test, not really putting the swab, not putting the stick on your nose and all of that. So, the match is still not confirmed, yet, canceled. So we'll see what happens on that. A lot of backlash for the Le Champion for, wanting Fozzy to continue. We'll see on that. Everybody can have their own opinion on this, but Jean Paul and I, there's only one more thing that we have left to say, and that is...